Welcome to Built with Purpose. I am Chris Fay, and this is the show where vision meets execution and leadership leaves a legacy. From design studios to innovation hubs and product lines to skylines, we meet the people building more than great companies. They're creating culture, driving impact, and shaping what's next. These are the stories and strategies behind how the world gets built with purpose. Hey, everybody, welcome to Built with Purpose. My name is Chris Fay. I'm the host of Built with Purpose. Today with me is Maor Farid with Leo AI. And man, I am fired up to have you on the show today and to kind of chat. And this is our first time getting to meet one another. So that's going to be cool. And then obviously learn a little bit about what you do. So man, welcome to the show today.
Thank you for having me, Chris. How are you?
Man, I'm doing great. I was telling you a little bit before the show. My wife was traveling and having some issues, and then we came in this morning and mics aren't working. And so I appreciate the patience and the desire to still work with me on this, man. So.
Oh, sure, man. As I mentioned before, just after reading your, purpose statement and, seeing how family-centered you are, and I super resonate with it. I told you, family comes first. All the rest is just a bonus. So, yeah, here we are. Super happy to be here.
Yeah, man, it was awesome. No, it's cool. It was so normally on mornings, Friday mornings, which is recording today. I normally take my two sons to breakfast with our best friends and their two sons. And so I woke the boys up early this morning at 6. I'm like, hey, y'all get ready. We're going to have breakfast with our buddies. And then, because I thought my wife would sleep in, and then she wakes up at like 6:05 and she's like, y'all are leaving me for breakfast? Like, I want to hang out with you. So anyway, we had to make a pivot, but it was great. But yeah, no, it's a big two teenage boys and wife and a dog and a cat. So how about you?
Beautiful. So now I have one daughter, and any day now, maybe even any minute now, we should have our second kid. So she's about to give birth really anytime now. So we're super excited.
That would be an interesting twist to the podcast if all of a sudden you've got to either bolt out. You're not in the hospital room right now, though. I just want to confirm.
No. We're at home.
Okay.
Yeah, but everything could change very rapidly, life themselves. So yeah, but we're all prepared.
Oh man, well that is so exciting, man. I remember the just the life-changing having our first child and then having our second child, and then honestly, everybody's always asked me like what stage of life do you like the best with our boys? And honestly, man, like every stage has been so cool and so different. You experience new things. And, sometimes I miss like the little kid aspect of like wanting to love and be around dad. But then now like I'm watching them become grown men, and it's so cool to watch, man. And you got such a cool journey ahead of you, my friend.
Yeah. I'm super excited, but I'm mainly prepared for the sleepless nights. This is the toughest, but all the rest is just the best life I could imagine.
So cool, man.
So I feel you.
I'm excited for you. Well, so kick it off. Let me start you with just a quick icebreaker. And I was just thinking this morning. So you live in Israel, and so kind of international. And we were talking about coming to visit Israel, and I told you it's one of the things that I would love to do. But what's your favorite place that you've ever visited? And then if you had to live somewhere other than Israel, where would that be?
So the best place on earth for me, generally it's Israel. Like I would never want to switch. But in Israel, I have to be frank, I have 3 places that are at the top one, right? So Jerusalem, because of historical reasons and because of the great food. Technion, which is in Haifa, right? Haifa is a city in the north region of Israel, and this is where I met my wife. This is where I went to school. So Technion is like the Israeli MIT, if you will. So there I turned from a teenager into an engineer, if you will, and a husband. And my hometown, Nes Ziona, which is a very small town in the middle of Israel. But, those 3 are different kinds of homes for me. So
yeah, well, it's cool to have roots and stories in different places in your country. That's what a neat experience. And so where in Israel do you live today?
Now I live next to Tel Aviv, like in a city called Rosh Hain, which is not even in the top 5 of the best places I like here. But, life has its own inertia and own, We live to see to be next to my mother-in-law. So she's our main resource of assistance for our kid. So this is where we live now. But if I would, if it's going to be inevitable and I'm going to move back to the States, the first choice is going to be Boston, like I used to live just a few years ago.
Oh, super cool. Yeah, Boston is a cool city. I've been up there. It's funny. I've been up there a bunch of times, and it's always been for work. And so I go in and I go to meetings, and then I come out, and I've really never had the chance to actually be in downtown Boston and without like some sort of like work agenda, So it's something my wife and I talked about going up maybe this summer and taking the boys and hanging. So.
Yeah, go ahead. But even more beautiful than the places, right? Like the main thing that I love there the most is the people. So we got very, very good friends there. So being there is much more than the places and the nice food and stuff. Mainly to see them.
Yeah, just the culture and everything. Yeah, no, that's good. Honestly, for the South, I live in the Southeast, and that kind of that Southern hospitality and culture and connection, and I mean, it's just somewhere that I love. I love the Southeast and kind of in and around this area. But there's parts of the U.S. and parts of the world that have a similar culture to that. So no, I definitely understand it. Well, cool, man. So, dude, I'm super intrigued. I mean, obviously, there's so much conversation around AI and generative design and just this everything. So there's a ton of stuff that we can get into and talk tech and just leading and founding companies and stuff. But just give us the kind of the high level. Like tell us a little bit about you and kind of what led you to founding Leo AI, and then give us some insights around Leo and what you all are doing.
Sure. So basically, my life journey. And of course, my partners led us to start Leo AI. So maybe it started from the first day that I knew that I'm going to be a mechanical engineer. It was by complete chance, right? I was in 10th grade and I was walking next to an empty classroom, right, during the break. And then I saw a weird software, right, in a laptop that was just in this classroom. So I looked aside, saw that no one is looking. And at the moment that I touched the mouse, right, and the keyboard, I was hooked, and it was SolidWorks.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
This is when I decided that I'm going to become a mechanical engineer one day. And then 2 years later, like every 18-year-old boy in Israel, I joined the Israeli Defense Forces. So I joined to the elite program that trains mechanical engineer. It's called Brakim program. Brakim in Hebrew means lightnings, right? So yeah, there was the best 4 years of my life. So I completed there my bachelor's, my master's, and then also my PhD. And then I started to work as a mechanical engineer in an elite unit that I cannot talk about. It's called the Israeli Prime Minister's Office. This is the name of the unit. And then I realized that I've done probably the worst mistake of my life when I went to study mechanical engineering. Because it was exactly the opposite of what I had in mind. I thought that I'm going to design the next generation of robots and medical devices. But eventually, I remember the first 3 months, I was just trying to find 3 bolts and 2 ball bearings. In hard copy books and online catalogs, I felt like a glorified secretary, right? Of course, with a lot of respect to the other professions, but no kind of innovation or creativity. So I decided to pivot my career after a few years, and I became an AI researcher in another elite intelligence unit called Unit 8200, which is the Israeli NSA, right? So there we developed AI algorithms that identify terrorists. Just recently, it was published on the New York Times and the Washington Post, I guess, one of the projects that I was working on, again, that is used during this war. And after I completed my service, using Fulbright scholarship, I went to MIT to pursue my postdoctoral training, living in Boston for some time. And then also I was studying the intersection between mechanical engineering and AI. And then when I came back to Israel, because as I told you before, this is the best place on earth for me. So with my best friend, since our first day in the army, and the most brilliant person that I know, Moti, my partner, we established what became Leo AI. And basically in Leo AI, we're tackling a problem that we experiencing firsthand as mechanical engineers. The broken process that I shared with you just a few seconds ago.
Interesting, man. Oh my gosh. I mean, there's so much there that you just kind of went to. So let me go back to the military service. So how long did you serve in the army in Israel?
So including the training was 4 years, but it was in academia. Including this part, it was 9 years, plus something like a year since the beginning of this war. So, on October 7th, 2023, we started the Israel-Hamas war. So I was drafted to reserve. So I served another year in parallel to having a company and everything.
And so what's that like? So I know obviously in the U.S. and I had some. I was never in the military, but I always had this desire to be in the Marine Corps. And actually, I went to officer school for the Marine Corps, and there's a whole story that I can tell you about it over a beer later. But is it? And this is just ignorant American asking questions. So every male in Israel has to serve in the forces at some point in their life. Is it a mandatory requirement?
Male and a female, it's completely equal.
Yeah. And then is there if somebody was going to serve kind of the minimum term in the military, what is that minimum expectation?
So it was, the mandatory service was 3 years. Then it was reduced to 2 years and 8 months, but now it's back to 3. So at least 3 years.
So you served almost 9 years, and obviously they put you, there was education and school and opportunities. Like why would you choose to stay in for this 9-year period as opposed to just kind of the minimum? I mean, that's a kind of a 3x multiple on time in the space.
Absolutely. So here there are two main reasons. The first one is Zionism and patriotism. And in Israel, especially, from the culture that I come from, of course, I cannot compare and have a huge respect to any culture. But in our culture, in our state of mind is that we have no other choice, nowhere else to go. And when your society, your country, the places that you like most, the people that you like most are under, you feel that they're under an existential risk, right? It's burning inside you, and you see that it's burning in the hearts of everyone that you appreciate around you. So your dream is to serve your country, not, God forbid, to be in a war. Our people, the Israeli people, the thing that they hate the most is war and sea battle. So we want to protect our country. We want to have peace with our neighbors. This is, and we dream to take part in this endeavor. This is the first part. The second part is Israel, if you know, so it's the second most, effective resource of startups and tech companies, especially, per capita. But not only per capita, as far as I know, also in absolute numbers, the second to the Silicon Valley, right, in San Francisco. And one of the main engines for this startup nation, tech nation, is the Israeli Defense Forces. So imagine that you have the most talented people that your society can bring, and you put all of those guys together, right? And they have to save lives or protect their country. They have limited resources, and they solve those problems. This is how you create a lot of startup methodology or state of minds or, talents. So, if you would ask me why I chose to do what I've done, is patriotism. And the second one is you feel that you get so much and you learn so much.
No, it makes perfect sense. I mean, I could think about just kind of growing up, because I had a bit of it here in the States, and I would say just the general culture of the States is not is extremely patriotic, but to the point where every citizen desires and wants to serve in the military. That's something that is a little bit different here. And there are folks that, wake up and dream about, serving our country. And I think there's a very patriotic experience here. But, what's interesting is that, everybody going through the military experience and just having been through some of it in my past life, I mean, the discipline, the camaraderie, the drive and the motivation that it can kind of instill in you, and to think about that every citizen in Israel ends up coming through that funnel and is probably taught this series of foundational, everything, like just how to work with teams, how to communicate. And I mean, you're given this training. And then obviously with all of the tech startups, it probably breeds some pretty amazing businesses. And I think about like some of the challenges, and I'd be curious to learn from you there, but some of the cultural challenges that I would say we deal with, or just any organization in, we've got people that have served the military that work inside of our organization, and they have a different drive, a different discipline, a little bit of a different motivation. And then we have some amazing people. Obviously, I would say a majority of our staff has probably not worked or not served in the military. And there are some like super driven individuals, but you can always tell a little bit of a difference. And so it's essentially, I'm kind of in my mind, I'm thinking like, you're able to found and build a company in a tech-centered country that has created so many amazing organizations, by which every single employee that you have has come through this defense force and has gone through this amazing training. And I mean, I can just imagine, what that would be like. I mean, it'd be like if I just founded an organization here in the US and I only brought in, the Marines and the Army and the Air Force, and like you got these like hard charging individuals. So it probably just creates an amazing Israeli individual employee to contribute to a company like you're building.
Yeah, and I think the main skill that we learn, of course, the people that served in tech units are maybe have a better, initial conditions in terms of the technology and development and research, right? But the main thing is the camaraderie, and it really, I believe, what I hear from our employees and team members, that it's felt in how we run the company. So when we run the company, when me and Moti, when we are thinking about what we want to bring to our employees, the team members, we think of them, even not while we're saying so, we think of them like our soldiers, if you will, not in a bad way, but in a good way, in terms of when you're a commander of soldiers, you are responsible of their well-being, of their joy, of their family, of their lives. If you're in a combat, scenario, even though I was not a combat soldier, I was a researcher and an engineer, but you feel responsible and accountable for their well-being. It's not just coming to work, punching the card, and writing lines of code. We know the names of all of their kids, even their pets. We know what they're suffering from. We create a yearly plan for each of our team members of personal development. So if they want to, speak better, be better in public speaking, or know better about HR, like we take responsibility as their managers to send them to the relevant training plans and programs. So we really feel accountable of all of them. And we believe that it shows in how they work and how they treat the team that we built.
Yeah. Well, I mean, honestly, man, I mean, that just my view and have been running companies for the last almost 15 years. I mean, it's two things that you said. Number one is affording your employees the opportunity to better themselves and to have a game plan or an annual plan for their lives and really getting to know them. And there's a lot of companies that do that, but there's a lot of companies that do that because they feel like that's what they need to do in order to build the culture, right? But the best companies are the ones that do that because they actually care. And I think that like what I kind of hear from you, you think about their soldiers, you're not doing those things because you're trying to check the HR box and drive up your retention numbers and all of that. You're doing it because you honestly care. And honestly, I feel like my own personal opinion is that people just in general, like we want to be led, we want to be inspired, we want to be surrounded by people that truly care about our well-being and not just our well-being at work, but our well-being, at the house and balancing and all the challenges that we have to deal with in life. And so to have two founders that are wired in that scenario, and then the way that you execute is just a byproduct of your care, right? As opposed to you doing something that you feel like you have to do, man. Like that's one of the best ways to build a successful culture. So man, that's awesome, man. That's super exciting.
I appreciate that, but we have a lot to learn, and I would love to learn from you how you do it. 15 years, it's much more that I've been in the management area and everything. So of course, love to learn more.
Well, man, I tell you, I've gone through, I would say the last 3 or 4 years, yeah, I kind of told you I was like, I'm a builder. I love seeing things. I love kind of having a vision for something, putting the pieces together and watching it be built. Like I'm not money motivated. I'm not accolade motivated. I just love like putting things together. Like, honestly, my favorite part of these podcasts is creating a game plan, reaching out to you and then having a conversation with you. The outcome of what happens is just kind of semantics to me, but it's the process. But I think, one of the, and I would say that, you're obviously a lifelong learner and have had a significant amount of education and experiences, but, just that desire to, two things. I think one is that desire to never stop learning and to challenge yourself to be better. And so I would always look for a reason to make a change. So, hey, it's Monday. I didn't have a great week last week, dude. I'm gonna change the way I feel or I think. Or hey, I didn't run that meeting as well as I did last week, so I'm gonna use that as a call to action to drive change. Or hey, it's end of the quarter, my calendar's crazy. I feel like I'm whatever. It's time to make a change. Or hey, I really want to be a better CEO or a better founder, and I'm weak in these areas, and so I want to go learn and try and make those changes. So I think that one of them is just generally this desire to continually learn and to be retrospective about yourself of what the things that you're doing well and the things that you're not doing well, and to be able to lower your not ego, but to be able to lower your ego to say like, look, like I got a lot to learn, and I'm a better CEO today than I was last year, and I want to be a better CEO next year than I am today. And so I think that learning is something that's critically important, and trying to surround yourself with people that have done at this stage more than you have done, or they've been farther along. So I love like surrounding myself with other CEOs and passionate people, because you always pick up things from them that you can then ingest into your own career. And then for me, I'm a big communicator, man. Like I'm probably to a fault a communicator, but like my team doesn't get one word answers out of me. Like if you're like, hey, why did we, what happened over there? Why did we do it that way? Like I'm extremely intentional about making sure they understand why it happened, the thought process behind it. We might have done it right or not done it right, but I think this breaking down these barriers of communication. So, obviously, like you're a lifelong learner. Obviously, great communicator, and it's like for me, those are two probably the things. It's just always trying to learn and surround myself and know that I need to do a better job every single day, and then just breaking down those barriers in communication are some key things that have really helped me.
Yeah. And if we have. This is, my 2 cents. If we have listeners that are business owners or desire to start their own business, the thing that I've learned, like from my process, much shorter than yours, but it resonates with what you said, is just get rid of the ego as soon as possible. Just, get it out of the door literally as soon as possible. Because if one's, wants to learn, the worst thing is to feel that you're better than someone else, right? And this is super counterintuitive when you think about the vision of an exec, a CEO, a business owner. You think about it as like an all-knowing person, or someone that has this image. But yeah, as soon as you get rid of this feature, right? Only this when you start to get better. This is what I've seen.
And y'all are probably finding this in your company, and I'm finding it in mine. And it was interesting. A pivot for me was, so I was in commercial industrial construction prior to, I was a project manager and the director of business development. And when you're running a large construction project, when you're kind of the person running it, you are driving the process and pulling all the people together from time to time. And sometimes you have to be a little bit more, I'm trying to think of the right word. Like there's so many pieces that come together that all ultimately come up to you. Sometimes you have to be a little bit stronger in the way that you drive stuff through the business. And so early in my career, I came in and I was really like, all right, we're going to do it this way. We got to do it this way. All right, I got you. Yep. And not from an ego perspective, but just feeling like I had to control everything because I I'd witnessed these construction projects. When you don't, there's a lot of risk that can ensue. And one thing that I've really learned, and be curious to kind of get your insights on this, is that the reality is the only way you're going to scale is through others. You're like you as an individual can only do so much, and as a founder or a CEO or as an executive, like, we actually are best when we have less pressure and less stress underneath us, because it can help us think about the vision and the future and where we need to be taking the company and all these various chess moves. And so that's been a big growth area for me, is just being able to really empower others. And I think, to your point, that ego, you have to first drop the ego to be like, dude, I don't know. I'm not the smartest guy in the room. Like, I need to surround myself with people that are a hell of a lot smarter than I am, and then empower them to drive change. So that was a big pivot. And I think, and not that I came in with ego, but I came in with a training that required more of a driving of the process, as opposed to empowering others. So I'm curious, like, on the way that you all are, obviously you're scaling a company, it's high tech, you've got to bring it to market. You've got people across the globe, right? I mean, you have people here in the US that I know that are working for your organization. So how do you all manage that in this business?
So, we have a statement. We didn't make it up, but I think it's really true. So if you want to go fast, you go alone. If you're going to go far, you go with the team. And especially in the AI era, right? The days that we feel now, it's just the birth, right? The dawn of the AI era. And I will explain. In order to create something just out of thin air, to envision a future that doesn't exist today, not to scale an existing business, but to imagine the future and build the present to take you and the other parts of the industry into this future, you have no choice. You cannot think yourself. You cannot envision stuff yourself, because you're limited. As human beings, we're limited by definition of thinking about something that have never happened, the future, right? So we have to orchestrate this, the drawing of the vision. We have to work with people across different industries, to bring people from across the globe to shape together this kind of vision and then execute towards it. So, right, it's challenging. It's much more difficult to democratize decision making and democratize vision, right? But you have no other choice when you're designing the machine or the tool or the platform that is we believe that gonna change how humanity design automotives and medical devices in the next 2, 5, 10 years.
Well, and especially I would think, just in general, and on the speed at which technology is progressing. There's certain industries that progress at a certain rate, obviously kind of following Moore's law and just the speed by which technology. But I feel like the AI revolution per se is moving at even a more exponential pace. And so, like, how do you keep up with that? I mean, you talked about kind of scaling through others and trying to really change the way that mechanical design and AI and how those can come together. Like, how do you stay on the forefront? How do you make sure that your team is envisioning the future? And then, obviously it's one thing to have a vision, but then you have to bring that back and actually, create the tech and deliver that. So, I mean, what's that process been like in kind of the start of the company?
So it starts from 2 words, right? Customer obsession. And I know it sounds like a cliche, but look, before Moti and I, my partner and I, before we started even writing a single line of code or drafting the vision, we wanted to see what mechanical engineers, what product designer really want, what are their pain points, what they're suffering from. And we surveyed and interviewed more than 900 mechanical engineers, from juniors to VP of engineering. And we started from itemizing the most time-consuming tasks that they are facing today, the most bleeding pain points that they are facing today. And if you're really obsessed about your customer, right, and you really want to make them happy, and takes us back to the previous discussion, right, thinking about them like as your comrades, soldiers, friends, family, you want to make them happy. So we had a cohort of the first 10 customers, and then 100 customers. We knew them by name and wanted to make, this Joe, Jake, Jenny, we want to make them super happy. So this what allowed us to see through the noise, and the noise is inevitable of the era that we are in today. And I will explain. Today, Moore's law is just a huge part of the past, but it's a part of the past. Today we see a big bang of innovation associated with AI, and it comes with shit tons of noise. You can put AI, those two goddamn letters, on everything, on every use case, on every pain point, and you can establish a company around each pain point or each use case. And when you're talking with two customers, they have three ideas on how your company should look like. But you have to choose, right? What customers you want to make happy first, where the market is the biggest, where the pain points are the most bleeding. Then you can come up with a North Star, and then you have to go there and be very, very strong with your strategy, because every other meeting could take you to another direction. So you have to be super committed to the strategy, and you have to believe and to understand how this, like executing this strategy, is going to make the list of 100 customers super happy.
Well, and I think it's in today's, and you mentioned noise, and I 1000% agree with you that there are so many shiny objects to pursue out there, and really the most disciplined companies are able to see through the shine, right, and to focus on things that they can actually make an impact. And so for you, like when you were going through these, you talked to these 900 customers, you kind of started and you learned, like what was the one or two top pain points? You're like, man, this is the thing that we need to focus on. This is the area of the mechanical engineering space. This is the biggest thing that we can automate. Like, what was the first thing that you felt like you could really build a business behind?
Yeah, it reminds me of a funny story, which basically it was the story of how the first vision was shattered by the feedback that we got from customers. So our first vision, just the zero hypothesis, if you will, was inspired by Iron Man, right? You remember the scene? The scene that, what's called? Tony Stark talks to an AI agent, right? Design me, I don't know, a new armor, a new vehicle, whatever. So this was our vision, to turn ideas into products in seconds. This was our first vision. And then we talked with the hundreds of mechanical engineers and realized two things. First of all, they're terrified by this vision. Terrified. After drinking, a couple of beers with some of those, the first 10, they told us, look, like, I love your vision. I love your website, but I'm scared. And I asked them why. And they told me, basically, if you're going to turn ideas into products, what I'm going to do, it means that everyone.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I lose my job. I lose my skills don't matter anymore. So we changed the positioning and what we understood that they need. And then we did something like an interesting experiment. We wanted to see across different industries and organizational sizes, what are the most time-consuming tasks that they're facing and what is the main pain points. And we realized, and it was super surprising for me at least, then mechanical engineering and product design was not what I thought it is. So I thought that it's just, crazy and inspiring Lego building, right? To build tools, to build automotives, but it's much deeper than that. And I remember how, a Porsche engineer described it. He told me, Maor, and he was a seasoned mechanical engineer. He told me, Maor, with his German accent, he told me, we're not in the mechanical business. We're in the decision-making business. And then when I really understood what my profession is as a mechanical engineer, we're making a lot of decisions based on, the industry knowledge, right? And also the tribal knowledge of our organization. And we need to live in this balance between to find the right ball, the right ball bearing, the right equation to the product that we use, to the next decision that we have to make, according to how we do it in our organization, but also according to those international standards. And then I realized that they're struggling with bringing the relevant pieces of information and to bring them together, and not only turning their ideas into products, but turning their knowledge and the organizational knowledge and industry knowledge into one puzzle to make the best decision at the moment, and then building it is easier, but making the decision is the harder part.
Yeah, no, it's awesome. And honestly, you think about, so gosh, there was a lot there that you mentioned. I mean, I think about, the sheer disruption that AI has and will continue to bring. And again, you're right. You put an AI on anything, but let's just call it, automation or agentic workflows, whatever. I mean, that how technology is going to influence the way that we all work. And exactly in that scenario, I can imagine talking to a bunch of engineers and sharing a vision that essentially puts them out of work. Like, hey, look, I want to learn from you all so that we can create a piece of software that kind of does what you all do. And all of a sudden you expect these 900 engineers to be like, oh yeah, no problem. Like here it is. I mean, there's a threat to, I can imagine, to their jobs. And to some extent, I can imagine the concern that they would have, because we've seen the same concern here. We had a conversation with our ops and admin team and said, your goal, and you can look at this either way that you want to, is I need you to double your throughput, right? Leveraging technology, or I need you to eliminate your job. And obviously, depending on the way that you answer that question, if I can double your throughput and allow you to spend more time doing the things that you love doing, i.e. problem solving and making decisions that are influencing the company, and I can leverage technology to reduce some of the parts of your job that you don't like doing as much, and if I can do more in the business for you all as well, if you can help a manufacturing organization or an engineering organization double their throughput, that provides amazing opportunities actually to the people that are in the business, because now the company is able to do more with the same or fewer people. The people that are there are happier, and hopefully it's being done in a manner that can increase the profitability of the organization. So there might be a higher earning potential for the people that are there. So yeah, I can like exactly envision these engineers after a couple of beers, and they're like, Maor, dude, I love what you're doing, bro, but like, I'm a few
Don't
years
take my job.
Yeah, don't take my job, man. I can only see it.
Exactly. And exactly, using the customer obsession, right? This is when we matured our vision, and also ourselves as entrepreneurs or whatnot. So we design a whole different thing. Now our product, I will tell you what our customers are saying. And we have one customer that his name is JJ, right? He was, I can say his name because he was interviewed in our last webinar just last week. And, he has 20 years of experience in mechanical engineering, specifically in the space industry. And he said that using Leo, he's able to design in 1.5 hours by himself what he used to design with 3 of his peers in 3 weeks.
Wow. Oh my gosh.
Which is a huge increase of the throughput, but it was not because Leo designed a new product for him. But imagine that it's an AI agent, right, that connects into your PDM, your Windows directory, reads your CAD files, your PDF files, your text files, and also it is integrated into over 1 million pages from the Bibles of engineering. And it's aware of what you design in your CAD tool, I don't know, SolidWorks, Onshape, right? And when you have a question about a material, like material properties, I don't know, the next part that you need, or if you want to brainstorm a solution, you have this Leo alongside to your CAD tool, and you can ask it any question that you'd like. And when you ask a question, Leo provides you with the answer, but backed on the over 1 million high fidelity sources in your the PDF files or text files from your organizational databases as well. So it's like an all-knowing kind of comrade, right? A peer that is there for you. It's your assistant, but is not going to replace you in any shape or form. So this is how we think about AI for mechanical engineers, by and for mechanical engineers, and not AI instead of mechanical engineers.
Yeah, I love that, man. It's amazing just the change of the viewpoint and the message and how it can change the complete trajectory. Now all of a sudden, mechanical engineers like, yes, like I love this idea of bringing all these pieces together, and it makes them more efficient. And honestly, man, I just kind of going back to a statement a second ago, I think that as individuals, like we want to feel like we are making a contribution to whatever organization, industry, we want to feel like there's some purpose to what we're doing. And I think that, there's an opportunity for what you all are doing to increase that purpose contribution, because an engineer might feel like they're able to contribute to the organization at a more exponential rate. They're doing things that they enjoy more. And so they're a happier employee, they're a happier contributor, potentially unlocking some more creativity that will help potentially solve problems they didn't before. So it's also probably rewiring the way that a mechanical engineer can actually enjoy and experience their job and their career.
Sure. And personally, I want to study mechanical engineering, like I said before, because I wanted to design more cool products. Things that, that explode in the air, and things that take people from A to B faster, medical devices that, make people live longer. And personally, when I feel super satisfied when I see my products in the hands of the customers, right? And at the head of the users. This is when I feel satisfied. And imagine that in a year, you can design not one product, but 5 products, 3 products, 3 times the fun, 5 times the satisfaction. So this is our, satisfaction as Leo AI developers or researchers. We want to see Leo in the hands of mechanical engineers and see them doing the magic that they dreamt to do, they were trained to do. As mechanical engineers, we were not trained to find bolts and brackets on hard copy books in German. It's not what we're trained to do. And this is not the why that inspired us to pursue the 4 years long journey of just going to school and studying mechanical engineering. We want to build, we want to provide value. This is our purpose.
So what in start and when did you all start Leo? How old is the organization?
So we started the journey, Moti and I, on September 2023. September 2021. But starting a business is a very long journey. And even we started off, Leo, the main idea that we had was the same one there as well in September. But the technology was not ready yet. There was no technology that allowed us to leverage organizational knowledge, tribal knowledge, to integrate high fidelity sources and books and everything. So we started off from another journey of a technology that Moti and I developed that identifies similarity between different data sets. So we started off from this. We tried to implement it into the radiology sector, right? Super different from mechanical design, and we failed. We raised money and everything, but we failed because we failed to find product market fit, right? The product was not solving a real problem for radiologists, but mainly the basic sin that we had was the lack of founder market fit. In other terms, we're not radiologists, we're not doctors, we're mechanical engineers. And when the technology was ready, right, it was mature enough on May 2023, Moti and I looked at ourselves and, we went after a long day of work to grab a beer. And we told ourselves, Moti, Maor, this is the right time. This is the right time to start Leo AI. And this is when we pivoted drastically from the world of AI for radiology into the world of AI by and for mechanical engineers. And finally, we feel at home. And this is why within, 1 year, we had more than 100,000 people visiting our website. And we created a vibrant community of mechanical engineers that say, this is what I was looking for years. And this is the best time of our lives, if you're asking me. Not only in the professional aspect, but in all the aspects.
So what's been the hardest thing? I mean, and it's thinking about founding two organizations, and man, I love like the product market fit, but then also the founder market fit, because I believe it just, the more passionate that the founder is about what you're trying to solve, the better the organization will be. So finding something that really drives you, that you have experience, I love that. But what's been the hardest thing for you and your partner in kind of starting this business and scaling this business? I mean, just look back over the couple of years that Leo has been in the current state. Like, what's been the hardest challenge you've had to overcome?
So I think the hardest challenge is the growth challenge. So after the first part of to identify the product market fit, to find the most, bleeding pain points and everything, which is a super satisfying work, right? To see people happy with your MVP, the most viable product. But now, just a few months ago, it just opened up the possibility to purchase Leo online. And then we saw a big bang, right? The second big bang. And the number of customers multiplied itself by 6 and then by 2 again. So because we're super obsessed on our customers and want them to be super happy, we felt a little bit frustrated by the fact that with this number of customers, we had a very hard time to make them super happy, because now they're like significantly more than 1 month ago. So we started hiring like crazy with AEs and SDRs to make sure that all the customers get the best design experience that they've had. But this is a huge challenge, but because we used to take the time with hiring and make sure that everyone matches the DNA specifically and it's going to be part of the team, part of the family. And now you have to multiply your family super fast. So this is it. Personally, it tore me apart. But yeah, now I can say that we came to a time of equilibrium, if you will, like growth equilibrium, and we managed to get the best people to hire the next best people to serve our customers. But this is I felt the hardest challenge that I was facing.
Yeah, it makes sense. I mean, when you're pressured by the business to expand at a rate that's outside of your comfort zone, and if you do that, you all of a sudden potentially lose control of the culture. But what you said is exactly where like my mind was going. Is you have really good people that understand the values, hiring more really good people, and for you to delegate that out and push that out to a team to establish the culture, establish that family, those comrades, those soldiers, and then to have that proliferated out. But yeah, dude, I'm with you. I mean, it's like, oh my God, we got to go do this, and we got to go do this, and I've got to get these people rolling. And the thing that I've struggled with in the past, and even today, is just wanting to get everything done and getting it right now, like having this desire to, we got to do that, we got to do that, and we got to do that, and we got to do that. And even in a focused scenario, like I got to get, customer success rolling, and we got to amplify our tech support. We got to do this, and we got to do that. And just trying to be disciplined about attacking the most pressing issues first and bringing those across the finish line. And I think in the technology space, there's this pressure by which how fast the industry moves and how fast you and I and other tech founders need to actually progress the business to keep pace or outpace the competition and to make the changes that are expected in the marketplace. And there's this like tie with growth, man. And like I would tell you, I feel the exact same thing. Like it's like, dude, there's all this stuff we got to do. We're trying to tack it all we can. We're trying to stay out, but I'm feeling a little bit out of control from time to time, and having to delegate a tremendous amount out to the team, which I trust and I love. But by the same token, it's a different feel than it was when we originally started the company. And so that shift is tough, man. I'm dealing with it today. It's still a challenge.
It's a huge, it's a great problem to have, some say, but a problem is a problem, and it's challenging and it's frustrating. But I try to solve it, and we try to solve it in the maybe the only way that we know is to be super honest and super transparent to our customers, and to admit, like when we're doing our webinars, every month religiously, even though we don't have like a super crazy feature to launch and announce. We just want to be there with our customers and apologize. Like to say, we are so sorry that, we were not able to reply your emails within 5 hours, like we've done, just recently. But now it's going to be within 12 hours, and we're doing our best. And we put all our team on the webinar. I want them to see the team behind Leo, and we sincerely apologize, and we say that we're going to do the best for them. Not because I know it's a cliche, but we're measured by delivering. And because we're super sincere and super religious about it, we are delivering, and we will continue delivering. And our customers will see that, I trust those guys. I hope they will say that we trust those guys. They really mean it. And yeah, this is our way to do it.
And the best thing I think that you said is getting ahead of that and being super open and honest. Because I think one of the worst things that you could do is, your customers have artificial expectations of what you're able to deliver. And then you continually kind of on the back end say, oh, we'll try and get that right. But for you all to get ahead of it and be like, hey, we're building this. We recognize there's a challenge. We're trying to drive these things. This is where we're going. Like, come along this journey with us. Be patient with us as we build this organization. I mean, it starts resetting the customer expectations. And honestly, it drives home your fact of kind of the obsession with the customer. And I'm sure that your customers listening to you are saying, okay, this company is not only trying to build great technology, but they really care about me. And this is the type of partnership I want. And yeah, maybe I'd love to have my email answered in 4 hours, but man, I'll take 12 because look at what they're doing for my business. So yeah, that's awesome that you do that, man. That's so cool.
I appreciate that. And I had an idea just 2 days ago when I spoke with another person that I super appreciate, Scott Harris, one of the co-founders of SolidWorks and Onshape. And he told me, Maor, you need to communicate better the roadmap and to listen better to your customers. And he suggested a thing that Onshape have done a long time ago. And, we're going to do it as well. Leo AI is going to do it as well. They have a forum in the website. Maybe, it's super, it makes tons of sense, but they have a forum on the website, not only to communicate errors and bugs that their customers are facing and to allow them to answer each other, but also to have a backlog of features, like to do to allow their customers to request for features, and then our team to communicate when they're gonna meet the market. So I think it's another great thing to do. And if Scott is listening to us, thank you, Scott. It's huge. And John McElhaney as well say this. From the same team.
Oh man, those are great guys. I've met those guys throughout the years in the SolidWorks ecosystem, and they've done amazing things. And no, you're exactly right. I think that people just, and this is employees as well, and people just want to be heard. They have their ideas and they want to put them out there. And what we'll say in our organization for any, because we do like a new hire lunch, and then I'll meet with all the new hires about once a quarter, and we say we want to hear your ideas. You're the ones that are better positioned, whether you're an employee or a customer. You're all the best folks to help us drive change in the business. So we want and encourage your ideas. But every time you bring an idea to the table, you should be met with one of three responses. Number one, love your idea, and you know what? We're going to take action on that, and we're going to put it in place right now. Number two, we love your idea. We are going to put it in place, but the timing is not right because of these different scenarios, and we're going to put it in our backlog and address it. Or, man, it's a super cool idea. I love where you're going, but it doesn't necessarily fit with what we're doing and why. And I want to make sure you understand the reasons. But as long as people have that they know that they're being heard and it's being addressed and considered and either taken action on or scheduled in backlog, or it's not taken action on and they're explaining the reason why, they're still heard. And so that's the one, like those three things that we always talk about inside of our business is just like, that's the three responses you should hear anytime somebody brings you an idea. And that should then unleash the desire of people to bring more ideas. If they feel like they're being heard and they feel like they're being communicated with, you start getting exponentially more ideas being thrown, and you can grow and improve at a much faster pace. So that's super cool.
Absolutely. And we have this like cool graph on one of the windows of our offices, and it goes like this: happy partners, happy employees or team members, happy customers. And we we take this super, super seriously because the first two, maybe all of them, all the three of them have their own sources of truth. All of them are sources of truth. For example, the VARs that we're working with, our partners, the value-added resellers, the people that our listeners, for the sake of our listeners, those are the companies that you are going to, like TPM, for example, to purchase SolidWorks seats, right? Like yourself, right? The TPM, you know the customers for decades. You know what they need, what make them tick, what make them anxious, angry, happy, right? Listening to you guys allows us to shape our proposals, our unique value propositions, our features, what we develop, how we develop it, and how we communicate it with the market. And making sure that the partners around us are being heard, and making sure that they know they're being heard and they're happy. And of course, the other team members, I believe that it's almost inevitable that the customers, the users, the engineers are going to be happy as well.
Yeah. No, I believe that with all of my soul. If your team, if your employees, if your partners, if they're happy and they love what they do, it's going to ultimately filter down to the customers. Because you can talk to a vendor, a partner, a salesperson, or an engineer, and you can kind of tell if they like their job or not, right? And so you want to work with people that love what they do. So, man, that's super inspiring. So I know we're kind of coming down to the close here. I had just a couple, call them rapid fire questions or built with purpose questions. But before I get there, the first question is, where did the name Leo come from? Leo AI. How did you name Leo?
Oh, so we really appreciate Leonardo da Vinci, the world's first human engineer. So we want to bring the world's first AI driven engineer, which is Leo. This is why the name is Leo AI, named after Leonardo da Vinci.
Oh, I love that. Super cool. I was trying to guess, and I was like, nah, I'm not going to guess. I'm gonna ask the question. And then we've talked about your company and the industry, but for you, if you had to describe yourself in one word, how would you describe yourself as a father, a husband, a friend, a founder, a leader? Like what's kind of the one word that you would think about describing yourself and how you live your life?
I think if I need to describe myself, not describe myself, but what drives me, I know it sounds like a cliche, but heart. The people that work with me know that I want to make them super happy. My family knows that, and my colleagues know that my top priority is a happy family. And all of my employees and partners know that my goal is to make them super happy. And all the rest, all the good things are going to come down the road. And so I believe that it's like heart-driven person. So, but hard, because you asked for one word. So.
Yeah, I love that, man. That's awesome. Well, dude, I can tell you, I know we're wrapping up, and honestly, just some feedback from the conversation. Number one, man, I've really enjoyed talking to you and getting to know you, and obviously, I know we'll have some other conversations in the future. But honestly, man, like the outside of the technology that you all are creating, and I believe with what you all are creating, you're going to change the world and change the industry. But I think the most inspiring thing is the way that you all are building the company, and this heart and this desire for happiness and this communication and this intentional effort to build a great organization. And just for me, like, I believe if you build this great organization, the output of your products and your features and the go-to-market and your customers are going to be wildly, wildly happy. And so I would just say, like, congratulations, man, because the way you all are building this business is something that is going to drive your success long into the future. And man, I'm so excited just to watch what you all do and where you go. And, and we're excited to be a part of your journey here in one area or another, but super, super awesome, man. So any kind of parting words on your side, Maor?
I just wanna say that we were not able to drive change like we do, and to do what we aim to do, which is to do good, without the customers around us that really became partners and brothers and sisters for us, and also the people that inspire us to do good, which is like John Hershtig, John McElhaney, Scott Harris, Bertrand Sicot, the former CEO of SolidWorks and the deputy CEO of Visiative, the people that mentor us on how to be customer obsessed, and of course yourself, Chris, and just to listen to what your customers are saying about you, the treatment that they get from you, and the mind share that they get from you is just super inspiring. And I was happy to learn today from you, and looking forward to learn more.
Yeah, same here, man. And I wish you all the best of luck. Hopefully today, tomorrow, over the weekend, you've got a new little one on the way, man. So I wish you the best of luck, and I'll send you some 5-hour energies or Red Bulls or something, just to keep you rolling. Because founding the company, raising a family, doing everything that you're doing is a big burden, man. So really excited for you, brother.
Thanks, man. I really appreciate that.
Awesome. Okay, thanks for joining me on Built with Purpose. If you have enjoyed today's episode, subscribe, share, and leave us a review. It helps more bold leaders find the show. For resources and show notes, visit our website and connect with me, Chris Fay, on LinkedIn. Until next time, keep building great companies, cultures, and legacies with purpose.